Welcome back, everyone. Maverick here. This video, we will be covering all of the censored Mortal Kombat 1 fatalities for the Sega Genesis. It is a follow-up to the last video where we ranked our favorite uncensored Mortal Kombat 1 fatalities with the blood code on. Here's the honor code screen where we would type in the blood code if we were going to. In this one, we will leave the text white without the blood code, and we will look at the fatalities as the censored versions. A lot of them are atrocious. They really made this game a shadow of what it was intended to be. So with that in mind, let's jump right in. Now we'll go from left to right like we did last time, starting with Johnny Cage. Alright, here we are, Johnny Cage's fatality. I mean, he just kicks him off the screen. Like I said, these are just atrocious fatalities. That's worse than Liu Kang's, which I ranted so hard about on Mortal Kombat 1 uncensored fatalities that it was a disgrace. It shouldn't be a fatality. Well, these censored fatalities are even worse. I previously ranked my favorites for the uncensored ones with the blood code. There's no sense in ranking these. They're all horrible. They all are embarrassing. Arcade was king for this reason. If you didn't know the blood code or you had the Super Nintendo version, this was a shadow of the game that it was intended to be as far as fatalities go. Yeah, like I said, Johnny Cage just kicks him off the screen. There's no blood. There's no head decapitation. It's pitiful. Okay, up next is Kano, who had according to the rankings with the blood code, the number 2 fatality. His fatality was amazing. Let's see if it can live up even close on this censored version. Alright, here we are with Kano. Let's see what we got. So, it's still the heart rip-out fatality, but you wouldn't know that. I mean, it looks like he's holding a rock in his hand. I've seen people say, did he pull out, did he pull out their wallet? Did he pull out a bag of coins they were holding? Did he snatch a rock out of their suit? It's just, what happened? If you've never seen the actual heart rip-out fatality, then it's really hard to understand what's going on. Especially if the character he's performing it on has clothes on the upper portion of his torso. It looks like he's reaching into their clothes, pulling out a belonging of theirs, and then they fall dead. It's very odd, and because he's a member of the Black Dragon, it looks like he's just stealing from his opponent. It's just an awful censored version. They should have changed it up completely. Alright, we're back at the character select screen, and up next is Raiden. Now, you'll remember that Raiden had this exact same fatality, except Johnny Cage's head would have exploded. On this one, you don't get the head decapitation and the blood. You just get Raiden shocking his opponent to death, which, in all honesty, probably makes more sense. I mean, if you shock someone, their head usually doesn't blow off, but it will kill them. So this one's censored, and I don't hate it. Do I like it as much as the original? No. I don't like any of them as much as if I say original, as the uncensored version, as they were intended to be. But this one, I get it. I get this one. We're back, and up next is my least favorite fatality in the uncensored ranking video I did, Liu Kang. Okay, so I mean, if you saw my previous video, that's just the exact same fatality. Why they didn't change it when the blood code's turned on, even to just a head decapitation fatality, is beyond me. They really did themselves no favor on that one. It's disgraceful in both versions, blood code or not. And the quicker we move on from Liu Kang's fatality, the better. So let's get going. Okay, up next, Scorpion.
Get over here. Finish him.
So actually, this is the exact same fatality with the blood coat on. So Scorpion takes off his mask, reveals the skull, frees those super hot hell flames, toasts his victim down to the bone, and I guess this one passed the test, for the censorship because there's technically no blood, which it's odd that a video game would allow, fighting and murder. They just want it to, be prettier. They don't want the gore, which comes along with, beating someone to death. But the fact that there was no blood, I guess, lets that one pass the test. And for that reason, without the blood code, that's one of the better fatalities on the game. It was already, a great fatality, even with the blood code turned on. We're back at the character select. And up next is SubZero, who has one of the most, if not the most, iconic fatalities in all of the early Mortal Kombat games. Alright, here we are with SubZero. Like I said, one of the most iconic fatalities in all of the early Mortal Kombat games. Let's see what we get with the censorship.
Excellent.
Oh boy, it's basically an even worse version of Liu Kang's fatality. It's just a super uppercut without the wheelhouse kick that precedes it. So what they've done is they've taken the spine rip out fatality, the central nervous system removal, and replaced it with an uppercut. I can't think of a more irreverent way to nerf SubZero's fatality. I would, if I was playing this at the I guess if I was at the arcade, we wouldn't have the censored version. But if I was playing this with my friends, Super Nintendo, I would never pick SubZero or Liu Kang. They just don't have very fun finishing moves without the blood code. Okay, the last character before the stage fatality, but we're up with Sonya Blade. Alright, here we are, Sonya Blade. And no surprise here, you might have guessed it, it's the exact same fatality. It's basically Scorpion's fatality, except instead of hell flames and a cool skull, you've got this kiss of death where she blows really an inexplicable ball of energy that burns the opponent down to a crisp. But no blood, so it's the exact same with the blood code on. Still not one of my favorite fatalities. Alright, here we are, gang. Let's see what the stage fatality looks like.
Excellent.
Oh! There's just not one. Is that right? Well, I'm gonna have to confirm that by some internet searches, but from what I just saw, it looks like they just completely took away the stage fatality. You can't even knock them off the pit. Wow, that's a real disappointment. Gosh. Sorry, I have to recover from that. I didn't know that that was the case. Whew, okay, well, that concludes all of the censored Mortal Kombat 1 fatalities on the Sega Genesis. I will have to say my favorite of those, even though I'm not ranking these, because what's the point? Scorpion was my favorite just because it was unchanged. A couple of really very disappointing notables. Johnny Cage just kicking his opponent off the screen. That's a disappointment. Liu Kang, obviously a disgrace still. Blood or no blood code. But two that really were the number 1 and the number 2 spot on my rankings for the fatalities with blood code were SubZero and Kano. And in this, they get completely destroyed. Kano pulls out something, you can't tell it's a heart, and it looks like a laughable object, a wallet, a bag of coins, a rock. it just totally ruins the fatality. I wish they would have changed it up, done something completely different. But SubZero's is even worse, just because it's so iconic, so historic, so recognizable, and they take it and they turn it into a super uppercut. I can't think of a bigger fall from grace than that. That's really disappointing. So like I said, Arcade was king for the reasons outlined in this video. But alright gang, those are the censored fatalities. I hope you enjoyed them as much as one can, and I will see you next time.